Leading the way on air, online, and on the go. From WLWT, this is Issues.
Good morning. I'm Jerri Toliver. Thank you for joining us this morning for Issues. I'm sitting in for Jan-Michele Kearney, and Jan-Michele will be back next week, but we have a great show for you today. We have some wonderful guests, and we'll talk to them in just a second. We'll start off with the Women's City Club of Greater Cincinnati. We have two amazing women who are here today. We have Susan Noonan from Women's City Club, and we also have Alice Schneider, President of Women's City Club. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. You have a big event coming up. But before we get to the event, for those who may not know your mission and what Women's City Club is about, can you give us a little bit information about that?
Sure. Women's City Club was 100 years old last year. We are a civic organization, social justice civic organization. Our mission is to educate, empower, and engage all citizens of Greater Cincinnati to participate together in promoting the common good. So that encompasses a whole lot. And we do engage the community in a number of free public forums every month on relevant issues to the city. Our 100th year anniversary last year was an amazing event, and we did raise enough money to give the city a gift, which we look at it as a gift, thrivingcincinnati.org, which is a new website that we established to work on self-sufficiency, inadequate wages, and so forth. But today we're here to talk about our annual fundraiser, our national speaker, which is really the biggest event that we have each year. This is our 21st year of having a national speaker. This year we were able to get a Season Good grant, which allowed us to be able to give away tickets to groups that may not be able to come. The speaker is really very appropriate for the time. She's an African-American woman who interviewed 1,200 people to write the book that she wrote. Alice is going to talk more about Isabel Wilkerson and the book, but we will be giving tickets away to a number of groups who we think should be there. For instance, the Cincinnati Police, Sheriff's Department, Ohio Justice Policy Center, and some of the inner city community people that would love to hear Isabel talk. She talks about racial justice, so we're looking forward to having her this year. And Alice can give you a little more insight on Isabel and the book called The Warmth of Other Suns, which is an amazing book.
Of course, I didn't know you were going to be here today, and I just bought that book. So good. And now that she's going to be here, I want to make sure that I read it before she comes. So Tell us about the event.
The event will be on Thursday, April 14th at Music Hall, and we hope, and again, we have Isabel Wilkerson, who wrote The Warmth of Other Suns, and she will be talking about, well, the title of her speech is Black Migration to Racial Justice. Are we there yet? And in this timely lecture, she will be addressing the persistence of racial injustice and economic disparity. And she's going to refer back to some of the items that she wrote in her book, The Warmth of Other Suns. Now, The Warmth of Other Suns is about the Great Migration, which is not real well not real well known. And she wrote about that, where 6 million black people came up to the north from the south to seek freedom and to escape some of the Jim Crow laws. This started about World War I, 1915 up until 1970s. And in the South, there were, before this migration occurred, about 90% of the blacks were in the South. And after the migration in 1970, 50% were in the North. But now that sort of shifted, and now some of the blacks are moving back down to the South, where things, there's more jobs. In the book, she follows 3 families: Ida Mae Gladney, Robert Pershing, and George. And George, each one of them has a unique story. For instance, George tried to unionize the workers on the
trains, right?
Well, he was on the train to get a job on the train, but he worked in the orchards in Florida, and he tried to organize the workers there. And they told him, well, if he does that, they were going to either come in and kill him or lynch him. So he decided it was time to take off, and he came up to New York and settled there, and he was then a porter on the trains. And another one, Ida, came up to Chicago. And then Robert Pershing went from Mississippi to California. He was a physician and did very well. In fact, he was the physician for Charles, I can't, okay. No, the black singer. So anyway, but anyway, what she does is she dispels the fact that blacks coming up were kind of dysfunctional. They had stable families, and they kept the stable family, and they did very well in the North.
So as we wrap up, maybe you can give us more details about the time, the place, and their ticket prices.
Okay, again, it'll be Thursday, April 14th, 7:30 p.m., Music Hall Ballroom on Elm Street, 1214 Elm Street. The lecture costs $40, students $10. And for more information, you can go to www.womancityclub.org or call 513-751-0100 for more information.
And don't forget, we will also have a link on our website, wlwt.com.
Okay.
We have a number of co-sponsors that are helping us put this on. We're very grateful to them.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Issues. I'm Jerri Toliver, sitting in for Jan-Michele Kearney, and we now have a different guest on our show. We appreciate you being here. Today we're going to continue our conversation with Iris Rowley, who is the owner of Roadshow Awards and Graphics and Cincinnati Black United Front project manager. So Iris, you have an amazing event coming up, and that's why you're here to tell everyone what's coming up with your conference. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, first let me say hello to you, and it's nice to see you.
Thank you.
And so this conference that we have, our first community police conference in the city of Cincinnati, put on by the community and designed by the community after the signing of the collaborative agreement and the memorandum of understanding in 2001. And we all know what happened in 2001 and what led up to the Cincinnati Black United Front and the ACLU filing this class action lawsuit in federal court in 2001 after 2/24 and before Timothy Thomas was murdered by Cincinnati Police Department. And I like to say that because the Black United Front and the ACLU was being proactive. And so what we did was we designed this very thoughtful roadmap into improving community police relations, and more specifically for people of color, African Americans, Hispanics, Latinos, people who have historically had very negative interactions with their police departments. So now 15 years later, we're going to look at where we are. We want to know where we can go, and we just want to build on the phenomenal work that we did in 2001.
So you have this event that's coming up. So tell me, what exactly made you say at this point, I know you're looking back, but this is what's needed now to move forward?
Well, we're seeing so many things happening, Jerri, around us. Whether you go suburban Dayton, whether you go to Cleveland, whether you go to Chicago, Baltimore, New York, Puerto Rico, St. Louis and Ferguson, it seems as if everywhere and all around us, we're seeing these very negative interactions with police. And so we've gone everywhere, and we've talked about the process of the collaborative agreement to make sure that communities are engaged and at the table with how police their community. communities. And so we want to make sure we let Cincinnati know where Cincinnati is, where the parties are, what still can be done. So for instance, we're going to have a conversation around body-worn cameras. The police department did some very small focus groups around body-worn cameras, but the majority of the city didn't get to weigh in on it. So we want to weigh in on what the policies looks like, who gets to review the video if necessary, or even if Cincinnati citizens want body-worn cameras. This is a very expensive tool that CPD will have if we say, yes, we do want those.
Now you have the conference coming up. What are some of what's the date of the conference?
This is a very aggressive conference, Jerry, and it's a lot of information. So we start on Monday, April the 11th. We end on April 16th. We start with a conversation with the University of Cincinnati, get an update on where the Dubose murder investigation and overall look into UCPD department, where they are with that. And then we have two movie screenings. We have our very own Cincinnati Goddamn, which was done 10 years ago. And it will highlight what happened in Cincinnati in 2001, and it follows Roger Owensby and Timothy Thomas's case very closely. And then we have 3.5 minutes, 10 Bullets, which is the Jordan Davis story out of Florida, where the young teenager was murdered in a gas station. His mom did a documentary on him. She will be accompanying that video. And then we celebrate. We need to celebrate the work that the community has done for 15 years. And then on that Friday, we get actually into who owns the crime. So if parties are not living up to what they signed onto with the collaborative agreement, who owns that crime? And then Saturday, we're looking forward to working on what abates crime, strong, healthy communities, and what people will commit to continue to do to make sure that we don't ever go backwards.
Can you highlight some of the workshops that you expect people will attend?
Well, some of the workshops will be, out of the collaborative agreement came the Citizens Complaint Authority. That will be a workshop. So if you've never had a chance to talk to the executive director, you don't know how to fill out a complaint form or a favorable comment, please come to that workshop. If you want to understand what problem solving using the SARE process looks like, come to that workshop. If you want to know about body-worn cameras, come to that workshop. If you want to know about reentry to no entry, come to that workshop. So if you want to know about media and the movement, which you'll be on, come to that workshop. So please go to our website to register, if I may, which is www.communityandpolicerelations.com.
And also, we'll have a link on wlwt.com.
Thank you.
To your event. And so where are we and where do we go from here?
And it's not my event, Jerry. This is ours. This is the
community's
event.
This absolutely. Is the community's event, April 11th through April 16th, and it will be held?
It'll be held at the Summit Center at New Prospect Baptist Church, 1580 Summit Road, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45237.
And for more information,
call 513-800-6925.
It will be a great, now repeat that just one more time.
The location is
the dates?
The date, April the 11th through April the 16th. It will be held at New Prospect Baptist Church, 1580 Summit Road.
And the phone number?
513-800-6925.
Thank you so much for stopping by and giving us this information. I know it's going to be a great success.
It's free too.
It's free. Yes. It is free. And I think one of the things that you've talked about is that the community, we have to be more invested in our relationship with the police and police community relations. So thank you so much for stopping by. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We continue with issues. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm sitting in for Jan-Michele Kearney, and I'm Jerri Toliver, and we will continue with our next guest. Of course, we have Cheryl McConey.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
McConey.
And we also have Mr. Nick Castillo. Nelson.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it. Now, Cheryl, you and I have met before,
Yes.
and you have an organization that you've been, I'm sure you're very proud of this organization.
I am.
I've watched it grow.
Yes.
And you've done such a great job. Tell us a little bit about it.
So Envision Children is a nonprofit, and we work with students anytime that they are out of the school arena, whenever they're not in school. So we do before school tutoring, after school tutoring, Saturday programming, Sunday ACT boot camps, and an academic summer enrichment program. So anytime a student is not in school, they can receive academic support from Envision Children.
And so Nelson Castillo is the general manager of Prime 47, and you're working together collaboratively, if I can say that word, with the big event that's coming up.
Right. Nelson's one of our newest board members, a big supporter, and he can tell you about Prime 47, which is an amazing venue.
So we came to be a part and work together for a couple of years now to help these kids, and I took over as a partner at Prime 47 and actually was able to be honored to be part of the board now and be able to assist these kids. So as a Prime 47, we kind of try to take it to the next level, so we can actually get some sponsors. So we put together a fantastic menu that we can actually have the event on April 10, starting with a buffet and appetizers for VIP guests, and all of them are invited to participate in the event. So we'll be able to have a couple of kids at the restaurant. We're going to have live music. We're going to have drinks. It's a lot of entertainment. It's going to be a lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
Right.
And so what's the theme this year?
Well, it's always lighting the way. It's always about lighting the way, and we honor two people, or one person, but this year it's going to be two people who have done phenomenal work within our organization to light the way for children, for other people to volunteer and get on board. So this year's lighting the way is Jeremy Day. He's with Winton Woods Intermediate School. He's the principal. He is phenomenal to work with, very engaged with the children. And then Wani Jarl. He works for Speedy Science and Apparel.
Oh, yes.
All I have to do is give him a call and say, hey, we need some volunteers for tutoring. He says, put me down for these days, consistently for years. And these are the people we just need to honor who have their feet to the ground and are making a true difference. So they're a part of it. And with the fundraiser too, like you were just sharing about how much fun it was going to be. Oh, that was last year. That's showing up there. Us just having some drinks and talking. Last year it was at Litsa's place, Art Design Consultants, and we received a $5,000 grant from Vinny Ray, who plays for the Bengals. He won the Brian Wizard Award, and he donated the money to Envision Children, which he will be doing again this year. I just found out. This is the board here, just having a great time. And so that was Art Design Consultants, and this year will be at Prime 47. And the whole plan is that, just like our mission is to make things fun and interactive, they're all the children. I don't know if you, when Jan was here, we brought all those children to the stage last year. It was a bunch of them doing their poetry.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, in our science project. But this year's fundraiser is going to be even more interactive. We're going to have games like, are you smarter than a 9th grader? And things like, well, you got to pay to play. It's all about raising money.
Right, it's all about raising money. So are you actively looking for volunteers for the organization?
Always looking for volunteers. The more that we can get people involved, we can scale down our numbers and working in the ratio of more of one-to-one work with the children. There's a 3rd grade reading guarantee test that's coming up in a few weeks, and these children are pressing to pass that test because they'll be stuck in 3rd grade. So it's very serious, the work that we do.
That's very important. And talk a little bit more about the fundraiser that's coming up. So give us the date and the time again.
It's April 10th. It's from 2 p.m. until 5 p.m. It's at Prime 47. The tickets are $100. That's going to include the food that's going to be there. It's going to limited open bar. It's going to be available, the games, and the raising money for specifically the academic summer enrichment program, where we hope to serve about 300 students this summer. And we raise the money for those students who cannot afford to attend the program.
Now give us the phone number again.
513-772-KIDS, which is 5437, and if you push extension 2. Extension 2 will get you right to someone.
One more time.
513-772-KIDS.
All right, that seems easy enough.
Yes.
And so, how many children? You said you serve over 300 children.
This year we plan on serving over 300 children this year.
And from what part of the city?
All over.
All over the city.
Yes, ages 4 is the youngest that we'll take, up to age 10. Sometimes an 11-year-old if the 11-year-old is still very playful. Yeah.
Up to 11.
Yeah, but so ages 4 through 10.
And most of it's about tutoring, field trips.
So what we're raising money for specifically for this fundraiser, and this is our biggest fundraiser of the year, is for the Academic Summer Enrichment Program,
Okay.
where our theme this year is sport and academics, where we're going to study football and baseball and hockey, and they're going to learn about the dimensions of a field and convert that from inches to meter. They're actually, Vinny Ray from the Bengals is going to be coming out and do a Pop Warner thing with the children to teach them about football and being safe with it, and we're just going to have fun, and we're going to learn about the geometry and the math and the conversions and all that goes with sports.
Good luck and congratulations.
You.
You do an amazing job.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you.
So needed as well.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with the community calendar.
Okay.
Welcome back. I'm Jerri Toliver, and we're going to move on to the community calendar with Michael Bobo. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. First up, we have the Abercrombie Group hosts the South Central Ohio Healthcare Supplier Diversity Symposium Wednesday, April 6th from 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Kingsgate Marriott Conference Center located at 151 Goodman Avenue. Tickets are $25. For more information, call 733-1555. Next is Louder Than a Bomb, Cincy Youth Poetry Contest, Saturday, April 9th at 6 p.m. at the School for Creative and Performing Arts Corbett Theater, located at 108 West Central Parkway. For more information, call 558-7368. Last, we have African American Chamber of Greater Cincinnati in Northern Kentucky Career Fair, Saturday, April 16th from 12 noon to 4 p.m. at the Gifford Institute, located at 421 East 4th Street. Free parking, and that's at the Western and Southern Garage, located at 310 Broadway. That's all of the community events we have this week.
Thank you so much for joining us. Jan-Michele Kearney will be right back next week.
Have a great week.